Hello, welcome to round two. I'm live again. Okay, hello folks. Welcome to this Dawn Bus Taste Challenge, and it's actually dawn now. Like nighttime is going away, daytime is coming into play. The previous contest, it was just dark. I ended that one on a controversial because I was taste challenging, and then I was talking about viewer people not responding to comments and all this business, which I do stand by that. But then I was up against time because I could see the news was coming on, and I like to watch the 6 a.m. news. And on New Orleans, on the oldest television station in Louisiana. But if you look at my face, hold on, I'm trying to get the weather. I was just walking. I walked half a mile just now. Because I like to stay in shape. I walk every day. I checked my weight this morning, 145.0, exactly 145 on the money. They said that's an ideal body weight, 5'10" and 145 pounds. Some of the insurance companies you say insurance companies, yeah, they like to check people's health and give that those parameters out because blood pressure, because they don't want to insure sick people. You know, when you buy, they want, the premiums. They don't want the payout. Well, that's understandable. But even some will say it's low average. It's like a little too thin. Well, that's okay. Better than high average or overweight. But most of them will say it's right in line, like right where you need to be. In the blood pressure, when I check that, be always good. They'll say ideal, like 108 over 67, something like that. All right, 64 degrees right now. Primo weather. Today it's going to be partly cloudy, but it's clear. Well, no, it's cloud. It's the front's coming through at this time. 72 degrees today will be the high. Hey, it's fall weather during fall, which is in Louisiana. It's fall and it's not 91 degrees today. We have so many days where it'd be like this fall has been like 94 degrees. I'll say, well, that's July weather. Okay. So at the end of the video in round one, I'm going to have to retitle it round one. You'll notice that I was like ranting and raving about Black Velvet, and it's not living up to its billing, and it's aged 8 years, and it's not that great, and so on and so on. And I still agree with that. I don't think it lives up to its billing. It's not so fabulous. I got it on sale for $10.99 a bottle. Well, I bought one bottle, $10.99. Normally it'd be about $16.99. Can we still get Black Velvet around here? Yeah, the regular one, 3 year aged product. I noticed that most people have gone to the 1,750 milliliter handle by jug plastic, which is cheaper by ounce. The reserve, I think you can only get it in the nice glass bottle. Notice I said I think. But right at the end of the challenge, and I kept looking at the time. I was like, the news is coming. I tasted the last tasting, and I said to myself, I remember I was saying to myself, like, you might be wrong. The bottom line is I couldn't really tell them apart. And the normal price, and this is important because I paid the same price for both of these bottles, $10.99. Same size, $7.50 glass, paid $10.99. John Anile says he can get Lord Calvert cheaper where he lives in West Central Georgia. I don't think I can get this at all. I've only seen it one time in my life. But it wasn't as cut and dry as I thought, and it was a little kind of shook me up a little bit. So when I was walking, I was thinking to myself, I said, you know what? You need to redo it. You need to do a round two, and you have this in boxing matches. People will have a match, and then they'll have a second round, and then even sometimes, like with the Thriller in Manila, a third round, which practically killed the people. The two boxers, but prize fighters. But I said, I'm going to redo it. and see if I really can tell them apart. I don't think I can. Now, what will that prove if I can't tell them apart? Well, it won't prove anything really. Could demonstrate that I don't know how to tell whiskeys one from the other. That is a possibility, but I don't think it's true because I think I've had enough practice and I can tell them apart. I think the reality of this is that these two, one is 3-year age, one is 8 years, 3 year, 8 years. I think the reality is that they're just not that different. All right. And I didn't pour a lot this morning, so I'm not feeling like, oh, watch it, don't drink too much. I'm not. Just a little bit. But I want to redo it, and just to be on the safe side. And I know the counter argument could be, no one even cares about those two whiskeys. No one cares. Well, I think some people, I don't have too much Velvet Reserve left on, Black Velvet Reserve. I think some people do care. I don't think it's important. I don't think inexpensive whiskeys are like important, like this needs to be done. It isn't anything like that. It's just an interest I have, and so I do it. Somebody made a comment, but see, he's a troll account, so he never makes a positive comment. You know, he'll just say nah. So I said I'm just gonna not let him comment on the channel anymore because he's not really there to make like substantial, what you call positive comments. However, the comment he made was actually accurate because he was saying, because somebody had asked me, do Maker's Mark and oh, I don't know, Four Roses or something like that. And I said, I am eventually. And then he said, no, he's got to get through all the cheap whiskeys first. And I thought that is true because I said that I was trying to climb the ladder. So I was going to start low and go high, which is a good way to do it, because then it's just every time you go in, it gets better and better and better. And then you're getting up to the $250, $275 bottles of Johnny Walker Blue Label and all that. But it's just that the person, it's an alias account. He's not going to use his real face, which to me is a coward way. But even though the point was valid, I did have to agree. I'll always agree if it's valid. But we know who the real viewers are, and we know who the trolls are. You know, and you're going to get that in any channel. And I don't do that. When I make comments on people's videos, they're legitimate, they're accurate, and they're heartfelt. I don't have an alias account where I go around bothering people. I do not. That is the fact. You can trust my honesty. I have 2 accounts. Anti-war, the other account, which I rarely post on, but I do it. May do it today. But and this. And I do not go around bothering people and making ugly comments. If you can find that, then I will pay you money, and that is the truth. But I make that offer because I know you're not gonna find it. You know what I'm saying? Like when I make bets with people, I already know the answer, so they're just giving me money. I'm like, you're just gonna give me money because I don't make real bets, like where I'm not sure. I'm not a gambler. If I make a bet, it's because I already know the answer, and it's just I want you to give me money, but I don't even do that because the people they'll say, oh, okay, they'll back out of it because they know I'm not gonna make a real bet. And if I do, and I'm wrong, you'll get paid. I did make a bet a few years ago about Sean Payton. I was wrong, and I told the guy, I said, well, I'm going to buy your lunch now. I'll keep my bet. I know I don't welch. He said, no, don't worry about it. I said, no, I was talking very confidently, and I was wrong, and you won. But he wouldn't let me buy the lunch. Well, that's on him. I was there. I got the money. You got the money? I got the money. So, all right, here we go. I'm not up against a news hard deadline right now. I'll watch the 6 o'clock news, and That's it. I got to do a beer review at around 8. Flavored beer, yeah. And I've had to do a lot of backtracking on those. You know, no one said more negative things about flavored beers than myself over the years. But then it was a case of me not understanding the concept or the style. It wasn't that those products were illegitimate. It wasn't that. It was that I didn't understand the concept and I was unable to grasp it. But the more I thought about it, then I started to realize it, and then I could accept it. Okay, so what we said this in round 1, that the appearance is, you know, we're talking about minimal amounts, but I want enough where I can smell it, you know. But these are really nice glasses, just Diamore glasses. These are great snifters. But so appearance doesn't matter. The aroma is very similar. Interesting. It's grain. I mean, it's grain, cereal grain. So if you have an I'm trying to think of the word. If you have a opposition or you're displeased with cereal grains, well, it's not going to work. You could drink brandy, which is made from grapes. All right. Or potato vodka, which is made from tubers. You know, so you don't have to drink grain-based liquor. You don't have to drink liquor. Beer would be a problem because it's grain. It's barley-based. Legally in the United States, beer has to have barley. It's not an option. Can it have rice or corn or wheat added? Yeah, sure. But it must have barley. And does it have to have hops? It does. Just look at the guidelines. I'll be glad to give you the link. I don't do that like some beer reviewer. Oh, that's right. He says he doesn't do reviews. He does do reviews. He claims he doesn't. But he always will tell me, it's common knowledge, look it up. And I'll say, that's not citing a source, okay? I'm not going to tell you, well, that's common knowledge. It's not, first of all, it's not common knowledge. Most people don't know that. Secondly, there's a link, Tax and Trade Bureau, and it gives you a clear definition of beer. It must contain barley and it must contain hops. Now, does it tell you how much of it? No, it doesn't. But you see, the U.S. government's going to use that logic of a reasonable amount. So if you said, well, it's 1% barley, so it's beer, that ain't going to hold up in court. So when you're drinking the Lime-A-Rita, that 8% Lime-A-Rita beer concoction thing, doesn't matter. It's got to have the barley and it's got to have the hops. It doesn't have to taste good because that's a subjective thing. United States government certifies Four Loko as an acceptable product. Oh man, I had a dream about Four Loko last night. I dreamed that I was going to buy Four Loko Gold. I said, I'm going to buy it and I'm going to get my friend David to do a review. That was my dream. And I went to reach for it. And for some weird reason in the dream, they had pint cans, 16 ounce, which they don't have, I don't think. It's all 24 ounce. But I remember I reached for it in the dream and then I said, I can't do it. I couldn't do it. And then I woke up this morning at 3 something. But I said, I can't do it. And then he's just going to, and then in my dream, I was saying, he's just going to make fun of it anyway, justifiably so. But he's going to say, why are you buying that? You know? Okay, so this is grain. That's him right there responding to my message. See what he says. Good morning. I told him morning. He said, good morning. I'll see him later. It's pungent, it's grain, it's full in the nose. It has a fullness, it has a quality to it. All right. You say it's only $10.99. I think these live up to their price point. It's $10.99 and they're reasonably, justifiably in position with that price. Are you going to get a great Canadian whiskey for $10.99? I don't have to answer that question because only a fool would think otherwise. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know what we're dealing with. Okay, this one is not as pungent and it's a little cleaner in the nose. It's clearly not the same aroma. It's cleaner. There, yeah. Cereal grain. Is it the same mash bill and ratios? No way. No way. This one has a little syrup, caramel, nectar, something. But if you take a deep inhalation, there is a pungency. There is pungent. Now, on the Black Velvet website, I'm telling you, I have never had. Where can I jump to the other ones? I've never had the toasted caramel, and I wouldn't buy it. I don't really buy flavored whiskey, but do they have more than that? Well, our experience would show that these companies will make what they show you, and then they make a lot of other things they don't show you. Now, the Lord Calvert's showing the peach spice, and everything nice. You know, if you want to buy a peach flavored whiskey, go ahead. I mean, they sell Crown Royal Apple like madness around here. I want to try the Lord Calvert Black. The Lord, now even lordlier. Sherry essence. It probably has sherry in it. That's why it has a sherry essence. That's the one I want to try. But screwed up. Craig, Lord Calvert versus Black Velvet Reserve round 2. You have stolen my Saturday morning. How dare you? I'm sorry. You could just not watch my videos. I'm sorry I make videos. Craig says, how dare us? We stole this Friday night, stealing this Saturday morning. I come at people like an affliction, but then I leave them like an addiction. You know what I mean? Tommy says, good morning, Jay. Go Wisconsin. Ah, the badges. The Wisconsin badges. Interestingly, I can get on a highway in this town, 51, US 51, and go north. And if I stay on that road, on that route, that highway route, I will get to Madison. Well, I'll get close to Madison. There's a little bypass you got to take to get into the downtown where the stadium is, but that's US 151. 51. Anytime you see those 3-digit, they're based on the main road. So it's 51, and then there's 151. Then you might see 251, and so on. But 51 would be the trunk highway, the trunk. The other ones are branches. You get the concept. Trunk, branches, tree, like a tree. Okay. Okay, taste time. And 51 is fascinating because when you get into Wisconsin, you go into a deep, and I mean a deep birch forest with these birch trees. It's amazing. And then there's old 51. What does that look like? An old dirt gravel highway. I was like, I'm not getting on that road. And it takes you all the way to the Great Lakes. The road literally ends at the Michigan border. You can see the sign, Michigan, and you cross the river, and then you're into the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, 11 miles from Lake Superior. It really is a fascinating trip. Waterfalls, and all that. Yeah, see, that one has more nectar and caramel and sugar. It's got to be Lord Calvert. Oh, well, sorry, I sloshed it a little bit. Yeah, it's got to be the Lord Calvert. I think my problem here is that I thought it was going to be so distinctly different that I overreached, and then it got me confused. Now, this next one here, tomorrow morning, I'm not going to get confused. I don't think I'm going to get confused with Seagram's VO. No way. This one is distinct, and I'm not. It better be at $16.99. And that's if you get a good price. And I don't think I'm going to confuse it. No. You ever buy those, like, they're not true maple syrup, be like Miss Butterworth's or something like that. You know what I mean? They're like syrup, but it's like different syrups. It's not just want to be all kind of different syrups blended together. A blend, kind of like this. This kind of has that. What's the other one? Country Kitchen, which is based on another one. It's like a derivative of it, a variation of it. What's the other main one? Hungry Jack? Not Hungry Jack. Aunt Jemima, yeah. So you say, well, it gets very complicated. It gets very complicated. Now, if you get some of those store brands like Surefine or Best Choice blended syrup, they'd just be so off. You know, it just, you say, why didn't I just pay the $3? You know, this is not a bargain. But the Mrs. Butterworth's, I'll get it right, Mrs. Butterworth's, too many S's, and the Aunt Jemima, or that, like I said, Country Kitchen, those, they're coming from major companies, Pinnacle Foods and, you know, Unilever and all that. They'll have quality level that you won't get with your store brand. Now this, but the point I'm making is that this one has that legitimate syrup, you know, more of your Aunt Jemima and things like that. Now, yeah, you could buy the pure maple syrup. That's where you want to go, but it's might be $10.99 for a bottle. But you ultimately, it really is true. You're going to get what you pay for. You know, you want to be cheap, then you want to be really cut rate cheap. Get your Surefine, and you're just going to grit your teeth, and you're not going to really enjoy the pancakes, but you'll just convince yourself. You'll say, "Oh yeah, it's good," but everybody knows you're just saying that because you paid $1.75 for that plastic bottle. We all know it's not really good. You know it's not good. We know it's not good. The American people know it's not good. These are good, but they're like at the cusp. You know what I mean? They're like they're right above the tipping point. These whiskeys are all right, but if you went below, man, you really be dealing with some treacherous stuff. Although I have to admit, I haven't run across too many treacherous things in the Canadian blended whiskey class. It's the American blended whiskeys that you really start to question things. You know, you get those really cheap ones and you say, oh no. Because they won't even taste like grain. They'll taste like honeydew melon. Ain't no way a whiskey should taste like honeydew. It's been a while since I've seen you live or any of your videos, but I was here from day one, says Covenant Lazarus. Good to see you, Ronald. How's it going? I'm drinking bottom shelf liquor with you right now. It's going all right. I mean, we have the first cold front, really, the first legitimate cold front of 2019 fall. And it's good football viewing weather, you know. Instead of sitting out there at the stadium, you know, sitting there sweating, and you're saying, oh, don't let the sun shine on me. And and you feel sorry for the players who are running around on this field, and it's 96 degrees, and it's like killer. It's killer. And then these little kids, they're playing soccer, and they all schedule the game at 12 noon. It's the humidity that just tear your guts out, you know? But today it's going to be crisp, and oh yeah, it's like, this is it. If you go to a night game, you might need a jacket, you know, a windbreaker or something. Oh man, that is just profoundly syrupy compared to, you got to really spend time with these. Like the round one, it was too rushed, perhaps. I think I have a better discernment of it now. To me, there are good and bad values on any shelf. I think that's right. I think that is correct to a large extent. With beer, it can be dicey. Now, can you get nice beers that are inexpensive from your major companies? Anheuser-Busch, Coors, Molson Coors, and Pabst. Sure, sure. You're going to win 99% of the time. But by golly, you start getting that really cheap stuff. It's like unusually inexpensive. Like way cheaper per ounce than the other beers in the store. And they're from like Rockwall Brewing or Crazy Cowboy Brewing. And it's obviously an alias name. And it'll be from La Crosse, Latrobe, Memphis. You say, oh, wait, that's City Brewing. Or Menhas people. Then now you're out there without any rudder in the stormy sea. And now it's a 50-50 shot. You don't know what you're going to taste. And then like if you go to Whole Foods and they have that copper, what's that cheap stuff? They say it'll be like $3.99. Like $3.99 a 12-pack. Like this is a true story. Or $4.99 a 12-pack. And you say, well, that's an incredibly low price because most of their beer is way higher than it ought to be. Like ridiculously expensive. Like a 12-pack of Schlitz I can get for $9.99 at Mathern's, and then Whole Foods will have it like $12.99. Like, why would you pay $12.99 for a 6-pack of Schlitz? And but you get, Gold Mine Lager. Gold Mine. We ain't gonna find any gold in that mine. Bad. Oh, I mean, you could drink it. It's not an F. It's not undrinkable, but it's so unpleasant. It's a D, and it ain't. Maybe it's a C minus. But then why would you buy a C minus beer when you can buy cheap stuff? A 15-pack of Keystone Ice for $7.99, and it's into the A minus range. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you do that? Because you want to save a penny? That doesn't make any sense. Well, these are close. And I'm going to call it. Then I'm going to read the comments. I'm going to call it now. I want to call it. Well, I'm gone. I'm done. I'm going with it. Yeah, I'm going with it. Good thing I didn't drink too much of it. Yeah, it's got to be Black Velvet. That's got to be Lord Calvert. But yeah, they were closer than I thought. Yeah, it's going to be this is where we run into in sports. It's going to be easy. I don't have to try hard. I don't have to really give an effort, and I got it. And we see this happening in football. Like Tulane playing Connecticut today. You say Connecticut, they only won one game. They beat Wagner College from Staten Island. I mean, this team has no chance. No, Tulane is a 33-point favorite. You don't even have to try. Give no effort. Big mistake. How many times have we seen this in the world of sports? Too many times, right? So, and it happened today. It's going to happen again. I know in the future I'll be like totally overconfident, and I'll say, oh yeah, I don't have to try. I don't have to give effort. And that's bad because people are viewing it. They don't have to watch this. I should give an effort. But it's like a psychological thing, you just naturally do that. You shouldn't do it. I shouldn't do it, but I do it. So I think this is Lord Calvert. And if this doesn't say LC, then that's just it. I've been defeated twice in a row, and I can live with that. LC, Lord Calvert. Yeah. I knew when I was walking. When I went walking, I said, I know I can get it right. I know I can do this. I know I can do it. And I did it. But that just is a lesson. Be careful. Be careful. When you're doing these whiskey examinations and taste challenges, you got to be careful. Covenant says, what's your thoughts on 80s Orioles versus now? Well, I mean, you're talking about World Series champions, dominant team versus this atrocity. It's the same as everybody's thoughts. How could this team have gone so bad? How could Baltimore as a city have gone down so bad? Well, I could explain that. I could explain that actually. But yeah, I guess if you're a season ticket holder for the Orioles, you just go to the games because you got the tickets, right? And you say, what nightmare am I gonna go see? And you might have a perverse enjoyment, like Mets fans in 1962. It was like a perverse entertainment, you know what I mean? Tommy says, VO used to be my go-to whiskey 20 years ago when I drank whiskey. I think VO is a good, reliable product, and I see it at every bar I ever go to, every bar, every restaurant and bar. You're going to always see VO. It's not a call drink. People don't call. People don't say, I want to have VO. You don't really see that. But it's like the ultimate mixer, right? I mean, that's it. It's VO. And there's a reason for that. You know why? Because it's high quality and it's never going to be off or disoriented. You know what I'm saying? Just wondering what you think of that team. I think it's a sad thing. And if I lived in the Baltimore area, yeah, I'd be going to the games because I'm not one of these people that only chase a winner. You're not going to see me all rah-rah when the team's winning and then I don't have time for them because I went to a birthday party when they're losing. And I know people like that. They're like, oh, go Saints, go. I'm like, where were you 20 years ago? Well, they weren't around. That's what. I was like, you watching the game? No, my cousin had a birthday party. I'm like, yeah, some fan, big fan. But when the Saints won the Super Bowl, they're like, I'm the super fan. I love the Saints. I was like, nah, you don't love the Saints. You just love winners. I guess it's kind of reminds me of the Los Angeles Clippers in the NBA. I remember back 20 years ago, the Clippers, they were like the most woeful team, right? So only losers followed the Clippers, right? 20 years ago. And that's before we had a team in New Orleans again, because we had a team. Don't even get me started on the Jazz now. But I used to pull for the Clippers. I'd say, well, everybody always making fun of them, and then they became good for a little while, like they were competitive. So the Clippers, that's an interesting team because they started in Buffalo and then they moved to San Diego, and it's sort of like a gypsy team, Oh yeah, you can't say gypsy. I'm glad I stopped watching NBA years ago. What a disgrace. It's a pretty bad product. They have no defense. They don't even try to defend. They travel constantly. And they always say every year, they always say that. You ever notice that? They always say in the offseason, the NBA is going to crack down on traveling now. I'm like, yeah, sure. It's kind of like pro wrestling in a way. You say the NBA is like professional wrestling. It is a lot like that. I can somewhat tolerate watching the Pelicans just because they're a local team. But when I'm laying there watching it, I'm shaking my head like, I don't know how people pay money. And I used to have season tickets. They used to bother me all the time. Like, when are you going to renew your season tickets? Come on, Pelicans fans, get on board, join the party. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not. And they tried to send me all kind of stuff, beautiful leather, well, vinyl, I guess, but nice book, folders, business stuff. I don't. You can send me whatever you want. I'm not getting the tickets. I don't want to go see that. I'm not going to see that. I haven't been to a Pelicans game about 2 years, but it is what it is. I prefer college basketball. I do actually. That's it. So I got it right today. Second go around. I'm glad. Oh, same comments. All right. So anyway, well, does Calvert, Lord Calvert, taste like Black Velvet Reserve? No, it doesn't. But it can trick you up if you rush and you don't try hard. So you say, well, I bet you're overconfident for tomorrow. I am. I think VO will take very little effort. I don't think I'll have to try much and give much of an effort. And I think I'll be able to tell VO from Lord Calvert. Am I going to be shamed tomorrow? In this case, I don't think I'm going to be shamed. I'm smelling it from the bottle. No, no way. Ain't no way I'm going to get VO confused with Lord Calvert. Ain't going to happen. Can't happen. And what about VO Gold? Come on now. That's going to be on Tuesday. Come on now. All right. But I have a lot of exciting taste challenges coming up. Well, exciting for me. I got the VO Gold. I got Albertson. You say Albertson's Canadian whiskey. Oh, wow. Going hi hat now, huh? Yeah. And I have Canadian Hunter. Hey, ding, ding. Canadian Hunter. And well, that's actually, I don't want to insult Canadian Hunter because they got some viewers that like love Canadian Hunter. And I respect that, because if you insult Canadian Hunter, they'll fight you. They'll say, look, I'll fight you. You know, I drink that every day. And if you want to fight, we'll battle or whatever. And they'll tell you where you can meet up with them and whatnot. So, so Canadian Hunter is going to be interesting. And I'm trying to think what else. Oh, Royal Canadian. Now, Royal Canadian is interesting because it's not really flavored. It's like a standard, straightforward, yeah, sort of like a VO type mimic, but it's pretty dang good. And for $8.99 a bottle, $8.99 a bottle. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I was so pleased with that. And that'll be when it's sort of winding down by the time we get to Royal Canadian, and then it'll be time for bourbon. Oh, whoops. It'll be time for Scotch. Oh man, I could drink Scotch every day for the rest of my life and I wouldn't even begin to get bored. I think about Scotch whiskey a lot. I think about it. I'm so excited about Scotch, and I'm even more excited because I got Highland Mist. Highland Mist. Oh boy. I am excited literally though. All right, thanks for watching this video production. I got beer coming up and all of that. So that's it. Now you can have your Saturday back, what's left of it.